Jealousy. Jealousy is the 10th of the 10 commandments. Well, not being jealous, don't be jealous. I want to ask, first of all, why does Judaism consider jealousy to be so damaging to a person, of all the different negative traits? And also, God describes himself in the Torah as a jealous God. So isn't he breaking his own rule here?
So jealousy, I think, can be extremely damaging. And that's because with jealousy, we have three different elements. The first element is that I'm unhappy with what I have, right? Which quite obviously is not a good position for a person to be in, to feel always wanting. The second thing is that I don't want you to have all the things that you have, right? Which means I'm looking at you, your grass is, sparkling green, and I don't want it to be that way because you don't deserve to have all of that, and that leads to extreme negativity and sometimes anger towards other people. And the third element of jealousy is not just that I don't want you to have it, but I want to have it instead of you, right? And so we're bringing the other person down in order to bring ourselves up. And so that's never going to be a good thing. Every person has to be able to achieve and accomplish and recognize their accomplishments and what they have for who they are. If the only way I can achieve anything is by stepping on you on my way up, then actually, in essence, I haven't really achieved very much for myself at all. So jealousy, it destroys the other person, but it also destroys myself because I think that I've done something when I've taken it from you, but in actuality, I haven't really achieved anything for myself at all. Having said that, there's a good sense of jealousy as well.
Okay.
There's always the other side.
Yeah.
There's always the other side. So the good jealousy is when I want to take something from someone else, but that it doesn't diminish from them at all. So the classic example that's brought down always is wisdom. So if you have a wisdom, a knowledge of something that you can then impart to me. So in a way, I even have an obligation to go to you and to learn from you everything that you can share from me. And that sharing that you give doesn't take away from your knowledge at all. But with my jealousy, I've taken that from you, but I've used it to build myself. And in that way, we both actually, you by teaching and me by learning, we've both developed as people. So it's a healthy kind of jealousy.
Okay, and before we get to the issue of God being jealous, why would you say though it's so, it's considered it's number 10 in the 10 commandments, which are considered to be the key foundations of all the other commandments? Why is it so high up there? Why does it encompass so much about what being Jewish is about?
I think being Jewish is all about connecting myself with godliness and what is real and true. And I can only do that if I'm using my own abilities. What happens with the jealousy is not only do I use my own abilities, but I'm destroying everybody else in the process. And if the purpose is for everybody to be built up and half of us are pushing the other people down, then ultimately all of society gets destroyed and we never achieve all the things that we're all supposed to achieve individually and together.
And let's get on finally to the issue of God saying he's a jealous God. He's breaking his rule.
So he is breaking his rule, but I think, again, for a good sense of jealousy, right? Jealousy means that wherever you are, whatever you have, I want that to be with me. So what happens with all of us is really we're all in a search for God. And we find lots of different gods around the world. We find the God of wealth and power, and we're focused on achieving wealth and power and more wealth and power, and we idolize people who have that power. We look at famous people, and we see being famous as being a god, so to speak. So we look up to celebrities, sports personalities, artists, singers, etc., and we say, I want to connect myself to you, and I want to be like you. And that's true with fashion and with beauty and all of the things that we see around us. And God says, hold on a second. I want you to be striving to be more. I want you to have more. But it has to be something that's real, right? Because you'll run after this God of power, and you'll see that you'll have all the power in the world, and ultimately it's nothing real at all. So God's jealousy is God saying, go away from there and come to me, see me as a God, be focused on spirituality, on kindness, on goodness, on becoming a truly good person. And in that way, God's jealous, so to speak, of all the other gods, but not because he's going to gain for himself, but because he wants it to be for our own benefit.
To stay up to date with the latest JCV content, if you're on YouTube, click subscribe below the video and the alarm bell. And if you're on Facebook, click the like button, and under following, click see first.